I didn't know there was a difference between becoming and being a preacher's wife. I learned it wasn't easy. Becoming a preacher's wife sounded more like I was going to get instructions, and being a preacher's wife sounded like I was supposed to already know what to do and just start doing it. It didn't work out like that in the beginning. It did not work out like that. Being and becoming was a struggle. I felt like I had no autonomy. Is being told how to do it, what to do it, when to do it, and didn't realize that I could set the pace. I can set the rules. I can teach others how to treat me as a preacher's wife. Not what they expected, not what they wanted. And when I became a preacher's wife, I start being the preacher's wife. And I was called the new millennial preacher's wife because I just not wanted, couldn't, just couldn't fit the mold that they were trying to put me in. And I realized that if I didn't do anything about it, that I was going to be stuck in this picture frame glass. Don't even ask me what else it could have been. Just a big picture frame that had the glass over it on a shelf with the little gold stand. And that's all she wrote. That was it. The examples I had to follow were so confusing because this one said that one said this. My mind was telling me that, and I was just so confused. There was no model to go by. There was no person that had the answers to the questions. And if they had the answers, they weren't sharing them. And I couldn't cheat off anybody's paper because I didn't know if they were passing or failing being a preacher's wife. I saw so many tears, so many stories of pain. We just don't know what the preacher's wife is going through. The abuse, the addiction, the resentment, the rejection, all of those things are real. So becoming a preacher's wife did not come with instructions. It didn't tell you how to deal with the guilt, the shame, your past. It didn't tell you that. Being the preacher's wife was the learning experience. You had to go through it, Sharon. You had to deal with it. Regardless of what you went through in the past, how you handle it is totally different than what you're going through now. Because now you are a servant. At one time, you were a different type of servant. You were serving something that was destroying your life. But once you learn how to be a servant of Jesus Christ, that's how you learn how to become who He wanted you to be. He chose the path. He chose the design. I just had to understand the purpose of being a preacher's wife. And once I understood the purpose of it, I realized it had nothing to do with what I wore. It had nothing to do how the size of the church. It had nothing to do with how well my my husband preached, how well he was accepted into the church. It didn't even matter how the women were treating him or me. What mattered was how I was treating my relationship with God. And once I realized that my relationship with God was more important than becoming the preacher's wife, it was more about being a Christian woman, serving the Lord, supporting my husband in the ministry, and taking care of my family. And in that process, there was time for me. At one time, the people pleasing, trying to do this, that for everybody else and no autonomy, I learned that I had a say so in how I reacted, responded, received, reciprocated, all those things. I learned through prayer. Once I realized how important prayer was in my life, that changed the whole scene. Yes, I remember the streets. I remember how I responded to anything that came my way. It would have been a different story. But once I realized that it's something bigger than me, the whole scenario changed. The script changed. The scenery changed. I learned how to accept what God has for me, not what man has for me, not what the church had, what the members had, what any of that had. My relationship with the Lord had to be on top of everything. He had to come first. Before my little feelings were being hurt, before I was worrying about how they were treating my husband in the church. And I'm going to be honest with you, one thing I did do was made sure that my children were treated with respect at all times. I put them where they could not see the good, the bad, and the ugly, only the spiritual side. Yes, I did. I did that. But we have to make a stand somewhere. We just can't let things just keep rolling off our back like it's not there, because soon all that that's trickling down your back is going to leave a stain. It's going to leave a mark. You're going to have to shake some of it off and turn it over to the Lord, where He can stand you up straight, get that curve out of your back, pull your chin up, pull your head up. But I did not learn this by becoming a preacher's wife. I learned this by being the preacher's wife.